Welcome back, everybody. It's Rudy with Alpha Investments, and I'm sure everybody's already aware of this, but we've had a very big tone shift, difference, change, whatever you want to call it, with the way modern cards, specifically Fetchlands, are being distributed and reprinted in the future. There's a couple things I think everybody's on board with about pretty much in 2019, and that is we're not going to see the Zendikar enemy Fetchlands reprinted in a standard booster box ever again. I think everybody can acknowledge that at this point. It's just never going to happen. The last time they were printed as a master set, master series are gone. So you know it's going to show up in another premium supplemental product. My opinion, the next type of really high-end ultimate master style product with a box topper is probably going to contain the enemy Fetchlands because they're very expensive. The prices are spiking across the board on those modern staples. Next, it's been a while. Let's talk about it. Khans of Tarkir. One of the most infamous nostalgic sets to this YouTube channel in the history of the beginning and what it kind of all symbolizes. Well, I want to bring up Khans because we haven't talked about the good old Khans, Rudy's Khan and everybody. Probably about a year, maybe 2 years since we've really talked about him since the beginning of the YouTube channel. And let's look at it this way. When I first made the videos years ago, Khans had just broken $100 a box. Now, I will be honest. The price of Khans did not go up like I expected it to. I was wrong on that. But it's still on eBay. It averages about $140, $145 a box for an English box shipped. I think TCG players like maybe what, 130s maybe, 135, few dollar difference. Now, all of a sudden, we have a new variable in the game. And that is what makes Khans unique, of course, is in my opinion, it is the last standard set ever produced that's going to carry Fetchlands. I don't ever think we're going to see a regular set at the regular price being sold at 80, 90 bucks that's going to contain any form of the word fetch anything. It's over with. That era is long gone. So, with that being said, if you haven't noticed, the Khans Allied, the cheaper version Fetchlands, where are they from? Like Onslaught? When did they do those originally? The Khans Fetchlands, the Allied ones, the cheaper versions, have, look at Bloodstained Mire, look at Polluted Delta. They all have this nice little uptick, the nice little beginning of the J, that nice little hook on the J curve. And they're all adjusting upwards because everybody in the big, large, evil ivory tower corporations are realizing that, well, these cards are not being reprinted in a regular set anymore. The reprint risk for the modern staples, I wouldn't say it's gone, but it's changed. Ever since they ever since they ended Ultimate Masters, we really don't have publicly announced the next batch of these super premium sets that are coming. They're coming. We are just not being informed. The security and the leaks and everything has been a lot tighter. And we don't have that kind of information. I've kind of probed and pecked and poked at some people, and I can't get any information about ahead of time and things like I used to. Things have gotten a lot tighter in the industry. And because of that, think about it. The reprint risk before with these modern sets in Fetchlands and a lot of these things specifically, like the Karns and the Lily, all the expensive modern staples, the attitude with the local game stores that barely exist were always, when you get it in, flip it and sell it as soon as possible. But now that it's changed, we don't have that concern. I don't see that anymore. When you see people or stores or vendors at events in GP, Magic Fest, PG, whatever you call them, the aggressive nature to try to unload these because you're afraid of it tanking on a reprint doesn't seem to be as strong anymore. There is definitely a shift in attitude, and I think this all comes back to ever since they announced Modern Horizons, and it's another, what we call, not a super premium $300 MSRP, but a mid-tier premium set. We have different levels. Are you guys noticing that? We have these cheap regular booster boxes. Then we've got these middle ground, maybe $200, $250 MSRP. Then we've got these super tier $350 MSRP. And I have a feeling there could be a $500 MSRP coming. No proof, just instinct. Why? Because they can. So because of that, even if you reprint the Fetchlands, it's not quite going to just collapse their value. Because the last time they reprinted the Fetchlands in Modern Masters 2017, like Arid Mesa and Scolding Tarn, if you look at some of these benchmark cards, yeah, they drop some. But not only did they come back, they're at like new highs. The drop, it's like it's the rubber band theory. You pull down on the rubber band, and that rubber band wants to pull back up and reset to its normal state, which is kind of that nice non-pressured position. And until then, it wants to pull itself back up. So that brings me back to cons. It's been a while, so we're going to bring it back. And yes, it's still about the fetch. And yes, I'm calling it. I think the cons boxes are finally going to actually make the move after, how long has it been? 2 years. While they did appreciate in value since the first time I talked about it when they were $100 a box, they're only about $140. I believe this final catalyst is actually enough to push it. Because I think finally, once the market and the rest of the industry and the players, the collectors, the Timmy, the evil investors, the 3.6969696969% women, and everybody understands that, wait a minute, even the day that comes where they reprint those, is the price really going to move? If you reprint those in a set that has a $10 booster pack price or a $300 MSRP, even the people who pull those cards, they're not going to fire sell them for $5, $10, $15. It's still going to maintain an intrinsic value because of the cost of acquiring them through the sealed product. And this isn't really something I've seen discussed very much, but it is something that I actually think is, it's very early stages. I think this is the beginning of a new layout in kind of a new path on kind of how they're going to be handling a lot of these items moving forward. Because what I see happening is the continuous direction now with premium, specialty, flashy, foily, hollow, and honestly, maybe even another tier of rarity. Common, uncommon, rare, mythic, and some sort of epic specialty, climax, masterpiece. I wouldn't be surprised to see additional levels of rarity in the new packs. And I know you guys aren't going to want to hear this, I think most of the new products coming forward that are actually going to have good cards in them are all going to be premium products. I think moving forward, the best regular booster boxes you're going to get are going to be like the Ravnicas and, $80, $90 booster boxes. But I think the best opportunity out there for cheap stuff is going to be the annual summer set. I really do. I think the annual summer set's pretty much the last, and that could be changed this year, we don't know. I think the annual summer set is the last basic priced booster box, Conspiracy, Battle Bond, wherever the hell it is, there it is. I think that's the last unique product that has potential for the best, highest probability of growth because it has unique cards that are very difficult to reprint. I mean, the Battle Bond cards are going to be very difficult to kind of, the paired cards are going to be very hard to place into regular products and reprint sets in the future. And it's like the flip cards from Origins. It's going to be kind of tricky on some of that stuff. And regular standard booster boxes are just not going to have these super mega powered cards anymore. I don't see regular sets having Karns and Lilianas and Fetchlands. Wizards knows that. They've learned. They understand the reprint equity. They understand where the value is. And Wizards wants a piece of that secondary market, everybody. And that's what they're going to go after. And for everybody watching, 2002 through 2010, that 8-9 year window where you could buy Scars of Mirrodin, Besiege, New Phyrexia, Worldwake, Original Zendikar, Morningtide, Lauren, when you have all those sets, those days of like an $80 booster box going to $500 because of the unique power level, the low print run, everything's gone. It has evolved. But don't misconstrue that as there's no opportunity to make money in sealed products. And that's where most people failed the last 2 years since this channel's been running. They missed out because they just blanketly said, all new stuff is garbage, Rudy's trying to pump it and hose everybody. And as we know now, it's been 2 years since I've been doing this on YouTube, that's not true. Almost every product we've sold to the patrons for $69 a box, $79 a box, it's just, they're going to go up, but it's just not going to be the extreme easy money from the past. So I want to have a good discussion with everybody. I thought it was a very unique kind of topic, and I wanted to say this is the final catalyst that I believe will actually propel cons to over $200 a box because nothing's stopping it. Supply is low. Fetchlands are never coming back in a standard set.